We start with the conclusion to Super Wild Card Weekend in the NFL. And listen, if not for Brett Maher melting down, that was going to be the biggest blowout of the weekend. But I think as far as matchups go, Tampa Bay was never, ever.
Was it not a blowout because of missed PATs?
It was, but, math-wise, the Niners and the Seahawks was, a bigger margin of victory was bigger on this one. But
maybe that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, but this, the Bucks getting wiped out by the Dallas Cowboys at home last night, just not a good look all the way around. And I never at one point felt like Tampa Bay was in that game. Never.
Yeah,
once.
That's the difference between this game and Seattle and San Francisco is Seattle was up 17-16 at one point.
Yep.
Then they just got blown out in the second half. There was never, ever a thought that Tampa was in this thing. I mean, honestly, I don't mean to put it on one play. It felt like the entire game tilted on the Brady interception. His first one in the red zone since joining the Bucs. But after that, I mean, first off, I don't know what the heck he was doing. And this has been their offense all year. It's hard because he's Tom Brady, and you're honestly hesitant to ever be critical because of how great he is. But that was one, there's no justifying that decision. I don't know who he was throwing to. I don't know what he was expecting Mike Evans or Chris Godwin or any other receiver who was on the field to do in that instance. And it took at least 3 off the board, which would have given him some momentum at that point. And then Dallas turns around and drives it all the way down the field and scores. That, to me, was like stick a knife in him. It was gutting. And you could kind of tell the defense slowly started to wear down from that point moving forward. But I don't know why I thought Tampa Bay would all of a sudden get into the playoffs and be anything different than what they'd been the entire season. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt or if you've got a friend or someone in your life.
I was guilty of that.
I mean, I literally kept thinking, no, this is it, guys. They're gonna turn it around, It's TB12. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it, guys. And then they just get in the playoffs and they look like the exact same team we saw all year.
I again, coming into the game, I said Brady and offense and co they're going to ball. Like, they're going to put it together. Like you said, they're going to ball. It's going to come down to what Dak Prescott can do against this Tampa Bay defense. And boy, so here's on the Dallas side. They came in with a game plan that seemingly was so far ahead of Tampa Bay that they never even appeared to be competitive in the game. On the other side of that, Tampa Bay came in so ill-prepared that they looked like some trash on both sides of the ball. And that was – I kind of felt like it was expected. It could have been possibly expected on one side, not both. You would have thought maybe the defense would have been able – and they were finding their way to Dak Prescott. Give Dak Prescott credit. Okay. Give him credit for improvising in a defensive scheme that totally was a head scratcher. They aligned their ends over top of the tackles in this game. So they went with an even front up front. And they literally lost contain the entire evening. Literally. They are running pulls, simple RPOs, simple plays like sweeps, powers, simple. And they were accessing the edges of that defense the entire night. And you guys know this is my go-to thing when I break down games. The one thing that I always say when it's a quarterback that you're like, they may need some help, you got to have a running game. If you get the running game, I always say it slows the defense down and it puts them in a dilemma situation because now they have to decide how are they going to stop the run. And then once you're trying to stop the run, then it allows for the play actions to work and it allows for quicks to work And it also allows for you to access the center of the field because generally speaking, you're going to have to bring down that safety, an extra safety, to try to stop the run. So you watched a Dallas team have total balance. They achieved, like when you're playing, like you remember NBA Jam when you achieved like he's on fire?
Yeah.
Kellen Moore and this offense achieved, they're on fire, right? Like some Super Mario. When Super Mario gets the big mushroom and he gets the one mushroom and he can just run through all of the monsters and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I now wonder two things. Was Tampa that poorly led, or was Dallas that superiorly prepared for this game? Like, I find myself wanting to say I question the leadership. This just was not the same team, not under Bruce Arians' watch and command. And it showed. It showed their defense is supposed to be better than that. But was Dallas that good? They looked dominant on defense. They looked dominant on offense. The only place that they came up short was really on the point after the PATs. That was about it.
You know, there was the conversation people were having when they were looking ahead to the Giants and the Vikings, and the big questions on Minnesota was, yeah, they won their division, but they were a -3 in point differential.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay was a -45 during the season. Tampa Bay stunk. They were a below 500 team, and at some point this year, I just sort of threw my hands up and said, this is what it is. I mean, they can get, Ryan Jensen back, whatever capacity he was last night, to get back out there on the field and to try and mix it up a little bit. And they've got guys that have won a Super Bowl there, and they've still got some players left over from that roster. But Brady, you made the point. If you watch them during the course of the season, and God forbid if you had them or bet any money on them during the course of the season, it was a giant letdown all year. And so I found myself going in the game last night thinking, all right, but it's a new season. Everybody's 0-0, and they're going to be, and then about 6 minutes into the game, nope, that's the team that they were all year. Like, at no point during that game last night did I have any questions whether or not Dallas was going to win or whether or not Dallas was going to run away with that game, just based on Tampa Bay showing exactly who they were the entire season.
It's almost like Tom Brady's chiseled, beautiful face, like, covered up that stat you threw out there and how bad they'd been all year. I mean, in all seriousness, we talked about the point differential with Minnesota because they were a 13-win team. And we kept saying, how have they won so many games, yet they're being outscored? Now, the simple explanation for that is when they get beat bad. When they win really close. Like, that's how you do the math there. And with a team that's got a losing record, you say, well, sometimes they get a negative point differential. Like, the other thing that was funny about that matchup, the Giants had a negative point differential, but they were closer to 500 too. So, we throw around these different stats and points, and at times it makes sense. But when you're only really one game from being an over 500 team, and you've got negative 45 point differential, when you're talking about those stats, that's damning. And it honestly has everything to do, to me, with their offense this year. And I don't know if you can necessarily put it all on Tom Brady. He didn't have that bad of a season. It just, they had some injuries that played a role. They don't even try to run the football. I don't know if that's Tom Brady or Byron Leftwich, but teams were baiting them this year. Just hand it off. Just go run the football. And they wouldn't do it. So give credit to Dallas, Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn. We had talked about it. Like, that's a game where if they lose that game, especially being as a road favorite, who knows what Jerry Jones would have done. I still don't know how strong I feel about the Cowboys moving forward, but here they are.